4 days, 25 miles, 2 friends, 1 wilderness, high alpine meadows, towering pines, snow, sun, and the kind of silence that makes you hear yourself think. Join me and my good friend Matt from Southwest Backpacker as we hike hidden trails, discover secret camps, and find moments of peace and laughter off the beaten trail. This is San Pedro Park's Wilderness. Adventure, challenge, and a little bit of magic await.
Awesome! Good howdy, folks. I'm James Blackburn, filmmaker, actor, and adventure seeker. I live in the American Southwest, and I'm surrounded by breathtaking landscapes and endless possibilities. My passion? Capturing life's beauty through lens and screen. From Red Rock Canyons to Hollywood movie sets, I'm always on the move. Join me on my video adventures as I navigate the wilds of the entertainment industry and the great outdoors. Let's explore together. Awesome!
All right, good morning, folks. Welcome back to another James Blackburn experience. Today is day 4 of 4 San Pedro Park's Wilderness backpacking adventure. It's still pretty early, got pretty cold last night, and we're happy to have a little campfire going to warm us up because it got down in the 20s last night.
There's a strange quiet that follows a trip like this. Not the silence of the forest, a different kind. The kind that settles in after you've walked long enough to remember what steady feels like. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't demand attention. It just arrives gently. 8 miles back to the trailhead doesn't feel heroic. It feels reflective. Every step carries a little more awareness. Not urgency, not finish line energy, just awareness. Morning arrives quietly at No Name Camp. No snow falling now, just cold. There's a different energy in camp this morning. Not rushed, not heavy, just aware. This is our last day out here. 7 miles back to San Gregorio Lake, and then 1 more mile back to the trailhead for a total of 8 miles.
All right, folks, I'm heading down to fill up the bladder with some of the river water down here. I understand the river's frozen over. The creek, river, whatever you want to call it, it's frozen over because it was so cold last night, so I may have to break some ice to do that, but that's okay. It's all part of it. It's all part of the adventure, yeah. Right, it's definitely frozen over, and it is cold out here, man. It is cold out here, can't breathe.
Water is frozen again. We break through the ice one last time, hands numb, but practiced.
Alright, got some water boiling here. This is directly out of the creek, non-filtered, but when you boil it, it makes it safe. So I am going to have myself some oatmeal and some hot chocolate this morning on our last day here at San Pedro Park's Wilderness. Alright, folks, got the oatmeal all ready to go and chowing down for some breakfast. Enjoying this fine morning. Nice and sunny outside. A little bit windy again, but it's not snowing and windy, which is going to make our journey a little easier. And we'll be hiking out here in about 90 minutes. We'll probably head out of this spot. It's definitely a beautiful morning. A little cold, a little breezy, but beautiful nonetheless. Just look at that. Okay, it's my turn to wander off and find my sacred spot for the morning rituals. And then I'll head back to camp and I will pack up everything and we'll start hiking out. We got about 6-7 miles out today, so it's going to be a long hike, but I'm pretty much ready mentally for that, and hopefully physically. It's kind of neat. Everything's frozen right now. The ground is frozen, so I'm not walking in water for once. That's kind of nice. All right, mission accomplished on the morning duties. I feel much better, and this was my view. All right, it's time to start breaking down some of this gear. Yes.
Gear packs up smoothly. No wasted movement. By now, we know exactly where everything goes. I take one last look around this camp. It wasn't perfect, but it held us. And sometimes, that's all you need.
All right, folks. I say this every time, but campsite looks a lot more lonely without the tents in it. But we're all packed up. We'll be heading out of here in a few minutes. We have water. We're filling up with Matt's filter over there, as you can see. So we'll have water for drinking on the way out. And then we're going to be heading down the trail here in just a few minutes. All right, day number 4, San Pedro Park's Wilderness Adventure. Journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and we're about 20 steps into it today.
We start hiking early. The trail feels familiar now, like it knows us. Snow from the night before clings to shaded sections, but the sun starts doing its work. Blue sky pushes past the clouds again. The mileage today is longer, but the pace feels steady, comfortable. My body is tired, but capable.
Very cool. All right. It's turning out to be a pretty nice day so far. This is really cool. Sun feels great.
The packs feel lighter now, not just because the gear weighs less, but because we understand it better. We've adjusted to the weight. Our shoulders know it. Our hips know it. Our stride has learned it. There's something honest about that. Blisters form near the end. Hot spots turning into reminders. And I don't resent them. They're proof. Proof that the miles were real. That the effort mattered. That nothing was borrowed. Discomfort has a way of marking you. And sometimes that mark is exactly what you need. A quick reminder that you showed up.
Another one of those sections where every footstep squishes with water. Just try to find the solid stuff. Hope you don't get your feet too soaked. Wow.
Speed replaces pace. Distance replaces presence. And I notice something small. My breathing is slower. My thoughts aren't racing ahead to what's next. They're not jumping to schedules or notifications or unfinished tasks. They're just here, settled. Maybe that's the gift. Not transformation, not revelation, just recalibration. A reminder that steadiness exists and that it's something you can return to. 4 days, 25 miles, miles through snow, through mud, through quiet stretches where it felt like we were the only 2 people left moving across the plateau, and somehow a little lighter than we started, not because we left anything behind, but because we chose what to keep. The trail ends, but the wilderness, the one outside and the one inside, does not. It waits, and when the noise builds again, it will still be there. It didn't remove the noise of the world. It reminded us that we don't have to carry all of it all the time. And maybe that's the shift. Not becoming someone new, but remembering who you are without all the extra weight.
Almost fell. That sucked.
There's a specific feeling when you know a trip is nearing its end. Not relief, not quite sadness either. It's something in between. You start noticing details differently. The way the light hits the trees, the rhythm of your steps, the sound of your pack shifting when you move. 4 days ago, every step felt like a departure. Today, every step feels like a return. And return carries weight of its own. You begin to replay moments. The first snowfall, the sound of elk moving through the trees. That sentence on the trail, it'll change you in good ways. You realize the journey isn't just forward, it's circular, and you're already beginning to carry it home.
All right, I think we got our first mile out of the way this morning because we're just about looped back to where we camped on the first night, which is pretty cool. 6 more miles to go, unfortunately, but 1 down, 6 to go. Most of it's downhill though, thankfully. So we figure we'll do those 6 in 3 hours probably. Okay, up here is a trail marker and our turnoff. All right. So if we continue forward, it's the Palomas Trail. To the right is the Vacas Trail and Gregorio Lake, or San Gregorio Lake, which is where we're heading for, because San Gregorio Lake is only 1 mile from the parking lot. So yeah, excited to be here, but also excited to be done. Here's a good spot to cross. Not quite as wide, maybe.
By now, the body tells the truth. Shoulders are tired, feet are tender, blisters forming in places you hope they wouldn't. There's no pretending at this stage. The miles have had their say, and strangely, I welcome that. There's something grounding about physical effort. In everyday life, fatigue often comes from noise, from screens, from schedules, from constant motion. Out here, fatigue feels honest. You can trace it. 25 miles, snow, mud, cold mornings. The body doesn't complain. It simply reports. And that reporting feels clean. Earned tiredness is different than restless tiredness. It doesn't drain you. It settles you. Spiritually, there's a quiet recalibration happening. It's subtle. Nothing dramatic, no lightning bolt realization, just a slow remembering. The wilderness didn't fix anything. It didn't solve life, but it reminded me what steady feels like. It reminded me that most noise is optional, that hurry is often self-imposed, that peace isn't something you find, it's something you allow.
Yeah, the going up always gets me. Even when it's gradual.
As the trail widens, and the trees begin to thin, I feel gratitude more than anything. Gratitude for the weather, even the hard parts. Gratitude for strong legs. Gratitude for walking with someone steady and kind. And gratitude for the chance to step away long enough to see things clearly. There's a quiet understanding in the final miles. You don't rush them. You let them happen. Because endings deserve attention too.
One more last steep up section here, and it's getting me. But after this, it should be relatively flat or downhill. So I'm looking forward to that. Almost there. Last few steps. Okay. Almost there. All right, I got up to the top of that section. Man, it got me a little bit. But still out of breath, but I'm on top. I see Matt's fresh footprints in the dirt ahead of me. So I'll catch up with him here in a couple of minutes.
By the fourth day, the rhythm of the trail feels familiar. Your body has learned the pattern. Step, breathe, step again. The pack settles into your shoulders like it belongs there now. At the beginning of a trip like this, everything feels new. The weight feels heavy. The trail feels long. Your mind is still halfway back in the world you left behind. But somewhere along the way, something shifts. You stop thinking about the miles. You stop wondering how far it is to the next bend in the trail. Instead, you just walk. And when that rhythm takes over, the trail starts to feel less like a challenge and more like a conversation, one step at a time. One of the quiet gifts of a trip like this is conversation. Not constant talking, just the kind that comes naturally when two people are walking side by side for hours. Some conversations are light, stories from the past, ideas for the next adventure. Others drift into deeper territory, about life, about getting older, about the strange ways the trail seems to put things into perspective. There's something about walking that makes honesty easier. Maybe it's the movement, maybe it's the silence around you, or maybe it's just the understanding that out here, there's no need to impress anyone. Just two people walking through the woods, talking when it feels right, and letting the silence do the rest. Eventually, the forest begins to change. The trail widens a little. The trees open up just enough to hint that the edge of wilderness isn't far away. You start recognizing places you passed days earlier. The same bend in the trail, the same fallen tree, but the feeling is different now. When you first walked past these places, everything ahead felt unknown. Now the unknown is behind you, and the familiar world is waiting just a few miles away. There's a quiet appreciation in that moment, not a rush to leave, but an understanding that journeys like this are temporary by design. You step away from the world for a while so that you can return a little clearer. The last miles of a trip always carry a certain kind of awareness. You know the end is close, but you also know that the memories of these miles will last far longer than the walk itself. The snow, the quiet camps, the conversations beside the campfire, all of it becomes part of the story you carry forward.
Oh my goodness, this trail, it's super muddy in spots. Squish it in. Okay, back at another trail intersection. We're going this way, but you can go to the right, and it is the upper Clear Creek and Lucero trails are that way. But we're heading down the Vacas Trail, which is this way.
A final mile of a trip like this carries its own kind of quiet. You can feel the end approaching before you see it. The trail starts to look familiar again. The turns in the path begin to ring a bell. Small landmarks you barely noticed 4 days ago suddenly feel like old friends. Your body knows the work is nearly done. The pack still weighs almost the same, but somehow it feels lighter now. Maybe because the miles have already been earned. 4 days ago, we stepped onto this trail not knowing exactly what the journey would hold. Snow, mud, cold mornings, warm campfires, moments of laughter, moments of quiet reflection, and a reminder that the wilderness has a way of shoving you down just enough to see things clearly again. Now the trailhead waits just ahead. The world we stepped away from is still there, but something inside has shifted, even if only for a little. And that's enough, because sometimes the purpose of a journey isn't to escape the world, it's to return to it a little steadier than before.
Here's a spot we're going to depack for a little bit, have some snacks, some drinks, some rest. All right, folks, we are about 4 or 5 miles out from camp. We got about 3 miles left, but Matt and I are here in the field soaking up this beautiful sunshine. We're able to take the packs off for a few minutes and just rest up, and then we're going to push the last 3 miles out, and it's going to be awesome. I have to say, this has really honestly been a great trip, and to end on a day when the sun feels warm and the skies are blue. Wow. All right, that was a good break, man.
Yeah. Yeah, needed that.
Yeah, that was good. I realized I didn't take ibuprofens this morning, so since I just ate, I took some. That should help. I definitely feel like the bottom of both feet might be blistering.
Yeah.
But it felt like that every day we were out here. And then when we got to camp, it went away. So I'm thinking it'll probably go away tonight without actually blistering, because I felt like I got close, but it never made its way there. So
"4 days ago, we stood at the edge of this place and made a quiet agreement to slow down, to carry only what mattered, to step forward without knowing exactly what the trail would give back. We crossed an invisible line, and today we stepped back across it. I realized something. The threshold was never just outside there. It was inside as well. And maybe the real crossing wasn't into the wilderness. Maybe it was into ourselves." Somewhere along the way, I start feeling hot spots on my feet, blisters forming, a reminder that 25 miles with the 50-pound pack leaves a mark. I don't fight it, I just keep moving.
all right, I think from this trail sign over here, it's about 2 miles back to the car. That's still a lot, but 75% of it's already done. So, yeah.
As the miles tick by, my mind wanders. I think about the silence out here and how rare it is. I think about leadership, how Matt guided this entire journey with calm and confidence. No drama, no ego, just good decisions made at the right time. I think about friendship, about how walking together, carrying weight, sharing discomfort, builds trust in a way that words never could. Out here, there's no pretending. You just show up as you are, and that's enough.
All right, folks. We're in our last 1.5-mile stretch of our 4-day journey out here at San Pedro Park's wilderness. I gotta admit to you, I'm feeling it. Day 4, I'm hurting, especially the bottoms of my feet toward the front and my toes. Feels like I might be getting blisters. We're gonna probably do close to 25 miles on this trip total in the 4 days. That's a lot of walking, especially when you're wearing a backpack that is started out at 50 pounds. It's a little lighter now, but it's still heavy. So what can I say about this trip? Well, number one, it was awesome. I loved every moment of it, even the tough ones. We overcame them and became stronger as a result, and had a good trip because of a few difficulties. Day 1, we hiked between 6 and 7 miles, and we probably changed elevation of 1,500 to 1,800 feet of going up. So day 1 was tough. That was a long bit of hiking and a lot of miles going up. But once we got to camp, we were loving it. It was awesome. We stayed at a camp where I'd stayed at before, back about 4.5 years ago, I think. And then we had a great campfire experience and good dinners and just hung out as friends do. And then the next morning we woke up and we hiked about 5 miles on day 2 to what we now call CDT camp, because it's a camp that's not far off the Continental Divide Trail. That one ended up being really nice too. Day 3, the weather changed on us overnight. When we woke up, there was snow on the ground. And then when we packed up and hiked, we got blasted by snow several times on day 3. And then when we're looking for a campsite, we got like white out, almost blizzard conditions for a little bit. So we set up camp really quickly. And that was last night's camp. It was nice. It was fun. It wasn't as spectacular as the first 2 camps, but hey, it was still a camp in the woods, so can't complain. And then we slept there last night. Woke up to 23 degrees this morning, I believe. So it was a little chilly. We definitely had to have a campfire this morning while we were getting breakfast ready, because that's cold. Then we packed up and started heading down the trail. Yeah, let me kind of sum up what I'm feeling about being here. It's spiritual. It really is. Being back as far as we were in the wilderness, it's probably the farthest I've ever gone backpacking. It was awesome. We saw elk and forest so thick that some spots of it, the sun doesn't even make it to the ground. Reminds me of Mirkwood in Lord of the Rings. I don't know why this isn't like a more of a world famous backpacking place, because you got lots of trails, over 41,000 acres. There's rivers and creeks everywhere with trout, and so you got water and you got fish. It's pretty cool. It's a really magnificent place. All right, coming up on some more murky water here. Let's take a look.
When we reach San Gregorio Lake again, it looks the same. Still water, still trees. The shoreline hasn't shifted.
All right, I see the lake up ahead.
The wind moves across it the same way it did 4 days ago. But we're not the same. 4 days ago, we crossed the threshold. Today, we cross back. And somewhere in between, something subtle happened. The edges soften. The hurry loosens its grip. The need to prove something quieted down. I didn't conquer anything out here. I didn't unlock some hidden secret of the mountains. The wilderness didn't give us answers. It gave us perspective. The trees thin. The trail widens. And then, San Gregorio Lake appears again. It feels different now. The same water, the same shoreline, but not the same people who passed it 4 days ago. There's a quiet gratitude in that moment. For the miles, for the weather, good and bad, for the solitude, and for the lessons. We reach the trailhead and drop our packs for the last time. 50 pounds gone. Shoulders release. There's no cheering, no big celebration, just a shared look that says, that was good. We load up and start to drive back to Albuquerque. The forest slowly gives away to pavement. The quiet fades, but something stays. Trips like this don't end when you leave the wilderness. They continue, quietly. It's how you listen. It's how you slow down, and how you carry yourself back into the concrete jungle. San Pedro Parks gave us 4 days of true wilderness. Miles of trail, snow and sun, peace and challenge. And it gave me something harder to name, but easier to feel. A reset, a reminder, a sense of balance. This journey is complete, but the lessons remain until the next trail. Remember, folks, love, love, hate, hate. Take care of each other.
Life is beautiful if you know where to look. So keep your mind, your eyes, and your heart open. It just might lead you somewhere special. Please check out my channel for over 1,000 additional video adventures. Thanks for watching.